All right, we're rocking. How's my audio? Can you hear me okay? All right, man. We'll appreciate you coming out. How'd you find us?
Through YouTube. I started watching you just for your hunting content and before the Sasquatch stuff. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
So, right from the very beginning.
Oh, so you knew about what's really going on out there before I started talking about it publicly?
Definitely, yeah.
So whereabouts do you live? Not exactly. I don't care. Whatever you want to share. Your state,
Southeast
province.
Southeast Idaho.
Okay. How long you been there?
My entire life, 45 years.
So I'm guessing you're a hunter.
Oh, yeah. Hunter, fisherman, all the way.
All right. What do you do for work over there?
Actually, I worked at the Monsanto phosphate plant, and then I hurt my back, and they medically retired me.
Ah, damn.
I was
rough.
I was 30 years old.
Oh no.
Yep.
No.
Yep. It's been a rough go.
But you still managed to hunt?
Yeah.
That sucks. Sorry to hear that, man. But you can still get out in the woods and...
I'll do that out of a wheelchair if I have to.
Same. What do you hunt over there?
Anything that moves. Moose, elk, mule deer, ducks.
Uh-oh. Lost connection.
Just about everything.
So unfortunately, the connection with Kris and I via the Riverside platform, which I've looked at I don't know how many times, is supposed to be the most outstanding, perfect, smooth platform to stream two people for a podcast. His connection sucked and we lost connection. So I opted to... Sarah texted him, got his phone number, and I called him, and I put the phone down right here, and the audio was perfect. So the part that I had to chop out, because at first he left his program running, and the Riverside somewhat recorded his voice and recorded the phone at the same time, so it overlapped. His audio was overlapping for a handful of minutes. So what you missed out on in the conversation there was I was talking about his hunting. He had the moose draw once in a lifetime. He got a great bull moose, and I'll use that photo for his thumbnail while I have a great conversation with him. And the first time he became aware of these people in the forest, he was hunting with his dad. And he said they heard a shriek. He said it was an awful scream like a woman being murdered. Said it vibrated him. There was ribs, whole 9 yards. And him and his dad. And they both spun around and took off and got out of there. First time. And then what else did you talk about during this little mess up here? I think that's about it. But we had a good lengthy conversation opening up about his hunting, what he loves to hunt, what games running around there. And then this was his first mention of how he became aware. And then the conversation takes off again here. Okay? Here we go.
15 or 20 years ago, probably. And then Shayna and I, my wife, we started hunting a new area, and we started seeing these teepees made out of trees, and I started studying it pretty good, and I'm thinking, there is absolutely no way those fell by wind or something in that formation, Absolutely no way. They're just not possible.
Yeah.
And then we start hearing weird screams and howls, and there's one area where we hunt now, we call it Bear Hollow, and my wife won't go. She flat refuses to go.
Right.
Because she said it creeps her out big time.
Yeah. I think some people are more susceptible to feeling them than others, you know what I mean? Like, I think some people can feel the presence and other people can really, really feel it.
Oh, yeah, I agree. My wife and I were sitting in a tree stand, probably half a mile from Bear Hollow, and all of a sudden, the cows started leaving. It got quiet. The wind even stopped. The bugs stopped buzzing, and it was like somebody hit the mute button.
Oh, it's so bizarre.
And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I'm like, "That's weird."
Yeah.
Something's in the area, and
what kind of trees?
I don't know if we should get out of the tree stand and leave or stay here, not move. So
right. What kind of tree stand were you in?
But we were in two shingles in trees right next to each other.
Oh yeah. You got foot pegs or a ladder?
Foot pegs, yeah.
Oh yeah. What kind of timber are you guys in?
Mostly Doug fir.
Oh really? Big ones?
Yeah, it's awesome. Got Doug fir with quake and aspen kind of shown in between.
How far can you see in the timber?
Pretty thick timber. We could probably see in that area. We were sitting over a spring. We could probably see 40 yards.
Oh yeah, that's typical, right? That's your average distance in big timber.
Yep. Some of the timber we hunt, we can't see 10 feet, but.
So have you seen these people yet?
I have not seen one yet, but I'm telling my kids about it, and my boy especially. He's one of those people that it creeps him out. He doesn't really want to talk about it, right?
Right.
Well, he went for a razor ride with his newly wife, and they got back, and he was acting funny, and his wife says, "Just tell him." Because right before he left, we'd been talking about it, and he says, "Well, we're riding along in this area where we've all noticed weird things, and a rock came flying through the cab of the razor."
No.
Perfect shot. About a golf ball sized rock. Perfect shot. In one window and out the other window, right through their razor.
While they were driving?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. Right.
Then what'd they do?
They turned around. They, like I said, well, about 5 years before that, there's some old beaver dams down right there. And we went hunting there, and it got dark, and so we walked back to the razor, and I couldn't find the key. And I just knew I'd dropped the key, so I walked back down there. It's pitch dark, and I'm fumbling around with the flashlight trying to find that key, and a wave of fear hit me like I've never experienced in my life and don't want to experience again.
No kidding.
It was petrifying, absolutely petrifying. And I'm a Christian, so I cried out to Jesus and said, "Jesus, I don't know what's going on, but please take this away." And it subsided, and I got out of there. And
no way. Well,
finally ended up finding the key at the razor.
At the razor? After you looked for it?
What's that?
Did the key show up at the razor after you looked around the razor?
Yep.
Like, was it there? Do you think it was there the whole time?
I don't know if it was there beforehand or not. To tell you the truth.
Wow. So what's that?
All I know is I was happy to find it.
Yeah, no doubt. So what's that fear like? The majority of the people I hear from who experience the wave of fear, I only get the emails. I rarely get to talk to someone that has shared with me they've got that wave of terror. Or even, we'll talk about the female scream voice too again in a second. But I got one friend who explained to me how there's a few of them together, and they found the 20-inch prints with 3 toes in the prints. And he said they were all absolutely terrified, and they smelled something too. But that's all I got. But so when that fear hits you, is it like, I don't know how to describe. Is it instant, or does it build up like a real fast wave hits you? Is it just like flicking a button? What is it?
It was like flicking a switch.
Really?
Yeah, and it made me almost want to throw up. It was that bad.
Wow.
Honestly, if I would have done what I wanted to, I'd have curled up and ball and hid under a bush. But I knew I couldn't do that because my family was up there standing by the razor. So I just called out to Jesus and pushed through. It was paralyzing.
That's intense. So we're talking 0 to extreme inside.
Yeah. Oh.
In a flick of a second.
1,000% right now. Yeah. Split second. Yeah.
Without hearing nothing. That's got to be the most bizarre experience for an experienced woodsman to have just that happen. Has got to be so freaking bizarre.
Yeah, and it just like come out of nowhere for no reason whatsoever.
Could you tell what direction it came from?
No, I couldn't. It just all I knew was it was there.
And it was pitch black.
Yep, it was. It was pitch black. I'm kind of in this little canyon. But yeah, it was It was horrible. I've never felt it since, and maybe partly because we stay out of that area now.
Is that the same area your wife was with you, and she won't go back there?
Yep. It's the same area that my kids got a rock thrown at them too.
Wow, how much game is in there?
Hardly any. That's another reason we stopped hunting in there, is because we don't see hardly anything down there in that little canyon.
Wow, is it all timbered?
Yep.
Never been logged? Big trees?
Nope.
Oh, it's been logged?
No, it hasn't. Old wood. It's there's still some trees in there that are 4 foot around.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Because I know where I hunt on the coast here, we got big fir, huge fir, a few other cedars, hemlock. But where I hunt on the sides of these mountains, I can see 100 yards. But we're talking moss bluffs underneath that timber, and then. But there's one on the backside of this one hill I've been hunting for years. It's almost like I got a mental block, and to go to the other, like I can go up the mountain, start side hilling on it to a point, and once I get to that point, I stop. And I've been stopping for maybe 18 years. One time I went in there, and it was just, what do? You go with your gut, right? But it's all right. That patch of timber over there is massive monster cedars, monster fir, hemlock, all of it's never been logged, but it's more continuous timber as opposed to rock steep bluffs that I hunt on the other side. But I'm always curious to hear what kind of timber it is that this shit's going on in,
Yeah, this is big Doug fir.
Yeah, because I think in some places the timber has something to do with it. It goes hand in hand to a point. I mean, we do have people have an experience. I got people emailing me from what are the open states near you? Isn't it where there's huge farm fields and plains forever? What state is that?
Nebraska.
Would it be Nebraska? I think there's a nuclear base there. I've had people report that they had them out there with zero cover and they're showing up without timber. So I'm not saying that timber and these sightings go hand in hand, because it doesn't, but it's a pretty common thing.
Right.
If that even made sense. I probably went around a complete circle. Now, how many people do you know that know what's going on? And I don't mean they don't know the answers, but I mean they accept the truth of what's going on out there. Do you know many people?
A few, actually, yeah. In fact, I was camped down turkey hunting this spring, and one of my friends that I hadn't seen since high school ended up camping next to me. And I just happened to bring up the subject with one of your videos, because one of your videos was talking about Logan Canyon, and that was like, I don't know, 20 miles from where we were at that time.
Oh.
So I showed him the video, and he says, "Come here and look at this." And he took me to the side of his truck, and there's a mirror missing on the side of his truck. And he says, "Me and my friend were driving down such and such road, and this road just happens to be right in the area I'm talking to you about. And something reached out and pulled the mirror off my door. And Whoa. You can see the bolt holes, and they are pulled straight out of that door."
Was he in it?
Perfectly. Yeah. Him and his friend were in it. And the window was rolled down, and his friend got smacked in the side of the head through the whole ordeal.
What? Smacked by what? By a hand?
They don't know. It was dark, and they said all of a sudden his friend got smacked in the head, and his mirror was gone. And his mirror ended up laying in the middle of the road behind them.
Holy shit.
Right?
Were they driving or sitting still?
Yeah, I think he said he was doing 25 or 30 mile an hour.
Whoa. Oh my God.
So he's a knower.
Yeah, he knows something's up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Anybody else?
Yeah, that where he's talking about is dead where I'm talking about.
What's the nearest homestead to that chunk of land?
There's actually a couple of old homesteads that are tore down now. Pioneer Day type homesteads,
Right, but I mean, is anybody living? Where's the nearest dwelling right now that's being inhabited by humans?
Probably 6 miles.
6, really? Do you know any of them?
Yeah, I know them all.
Oh, really? I wonder. Yeah. I wonder if how many of those people have had something going on.
I don't know. I've never had a chance to really talk to them about that.
Yeah. Well,
most
usually
of them are the landowners that I get permission from to hunt on their property out there.
Oh yeah. Well, usually people just don't talk about it, right? I mean, even before we moved back here, when we lived in Pemberton, I mean, we're talking 1 traffic light, 2 gas stations, and it wasn't until I started speaking about it openly there that numerous people that I've known for a long time came forward with seeing these people, and it was more common for me to find somebody in that community that had seen one of these people than it was for me to find somebody who's seen a cougar.
Right.
And it's 44
That's
people.
Crazy.
44 people I spoke to firsthand that had experiences with these people in that community alone. 44.
Wow. How big of a community is it?
Pemberton? I don't know. You probably Google it up. It's exploded lately with condensed little homes and a couple condos and shit, but I don't know. I would never have a clue. Maybe at the time, I don't know, 6,000 people, 5,000 maybe? I don't know. Not even that.
Still, 44. That's pretty good percentage, 44 really.
Yeah, it might even been less than that. I'm the shits. I'm not familiar with populations and town sizes myself. I've never had to have been familiar with the numbers, but there's not that many people there at the time. Still isn't that many. Although it's been one of the world's snowmobiling destinations for the globe for a long time. So it's a pretty busy place. But I'll tell you what, I could go. I probably got 3 or 4 different places there. I could go with confidence. Those people are there 100% when I go there, without a doubt. They're still there. The activity doesn't push them away. It doesn't stop what's going on.
Right.
So what do you think? Do you think
I don't think the activity bothers them a bit.
No. Do you think they're here full time?
No, I don't.
Where do you think they're going?
100% I don't.
Yeah, neither do I.
Do you want to know exactly what I think?
Yeah, of course.
Like I said, I'm a Christian, so I kind of hold to that paradigm, right?
Right.
I think the Bible talks about 2 different heavens, right? The upper heaven where Satan and his demons preside, and then the heaven where God presides. And I think that heaven where Satan and his demons preside is kind of adjacent to us.
Right.
And I think they might have access to that same, I don't know, dimension, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I do not think they're here full time at all. I think if they were, I think more people would run into them.
Yeah, I mean, just for me, I mean, I go through life. I don't rely on people telling me what's up. Doesn't matter what the topic is. I got to look into myself, and then I listen to all the people like you and others. But nobody tells me what's up. I'm definitely figuring out all my shit on my own. But I have to listen to people like you and the tens of thousands of people here before I say this. But I don't know if you know my history. I mean, I used to do around 260 days a year in the wilds of BC solo, mostly solo, and I can say with confidence, nope, there is no freaking way they are here full time. There's not a chance.
Yeah.
But that's just my perspective and how that's what I've figured out for myself. That's all. I never dictated to anybody, but if anybody's to ask me how I'm doing my puzzle piece, I can guarantee you that's what I've come to for myself. Take from it what you will, leave it.
Right.
And then the big question is, go ahead.
I spend way more time out in the woods than the average person. I guarantee you that. And I'm like you. I just don't believe at all that they're here full time.
No.
And I think they can go in and out at will.
Absolutely. And does that ever frustrate the shit out of you that we don't have that knowledge?
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm finding myself, I've been really getting really frustrated this past year, maybe a few years, just that fact alone. I was frustrated for quite a while. One of my main fuels was I was just angry. As an example, Bobby Smith down the road, he does not get to have this honest information before he takes his 3 kids and his wife camping to that campground down there where somebody got chased, a boulder was dropped, tree was thrown in their tent, and somebody's chased by a 9-foot tall hairy guy. They don't get to have that information.
Oh, it's BS is what it is.
It's brutal BS. But then
there's somebody in this world that knows precisely what's going on, and they should be sharing this information.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know if you caught, I think it was today, I put down a video yesterday, and I'm sitting in the woods on the way home talking, and one of my big questions I got now is can we live like them? Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean like running around the forest eating raw shit. I mean, if they can live unacknowledged and they don't have to pay for frickin' water or pay to be alive, right? So they get to live this way. Why don't we get to live that way, and can we? That's a big question for me right now. And then and to be able to be so in tune with your true natural skills as they are, I want to know if we can be too to that level,
Yeah. Yep.
And if we can, or if we should be, it's going to make me even double or triple more angry because it's been withheld from us.
I'm convinced that before the big flood, that human beings were given these abilities, whether entities taught them how to use them or what. I think people had access to this kind of thing before the flood. I think there was a lot more knowledge on the earth before the flood happened.
Oh man, yeah. Well,
that's what I think.
For sure. If you even just looking at those buildings, those creations around the globe that are almost exact, like the pyramids, the brick cutting, the boulder cutting, hundreds of tons, pieces of rock moved 10 miles, even plus, right? It's like, but what happened to them? You know what I mean? What happened to them?
I do not believe the Hebrew slaves built the pyramids.
With bamboo scaffolding?
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't.
Oh my God. Pictures of people back in the day using bamboo scaffolding to build the pyramids. Holy shit. And they deliver that to our children in the classrooms.
To move 30-ton rocks 200 foot in the air. Give me a break.
Yeah. So what happened to those people? What happened to that knowledge, you know?
Yep.
Why are we smart as pickles?
I do wonder if maybe mankind, because, mankind can do some awful, terrible things. I wonder if God stopped mankind from being able to access this kind of power because they were doing some horrible things with it.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's possibly, but there's so many examples right now of human beings doing absolute horrible, nasty shit with the knowledge currently. How much worse can it get?
Well, think about if just say an assassin could go in and out of phase at will. There's nobody on earth that would be safe.
No, I haven't made any qualms about it. If I had those skills, I know where I'd be tomorrow.
Right?
Right?
Yep. And anything that's used for good can be used for evil, right?
Yeah. I would definitely be cleaning up the evil.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It is big time unfortunate.
My boy here about 2 years ago, my boy was turkey hunting in the spring, and there was still quite a bit of snow on the ground, and there's one of our steepest hills are in mountains around, and it's snow covered clear into April. And he walked up there and he found about a 18-inch footprint in the snow going right up the steepest part of the mountain.
What do you think of that?
And it scared the crap out of him is what it did. And I said, well, did you take a picture? He says, Dad, I didn't even think about taking a picture. It didn't even cross his mind.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. Isn't that weird that something instinctual kicks in and you don't even think about picking up your phone and taking a picture of this stuff.
I know, but it's always centered around this particular topic. Like, you never hear about a guy that goes, I saw this grizzly bear track. I didn't even think for a second not to take a picture of it. Said nobody.
Right. I know.
Said nobody.
Nobody. Exactly.
Yeah. The fright is so bizarre. Sorry.
It is bizarre. Probably the strangest thing, and one of the main things I wrote into you about was this exact same area I'm telling you about. There's a little spring, and it's my favorite hunting spot probably in the whole world for elk. And right after I hurt my back, the doctor gave me a permit so I could use a crossbow during archery season.
Nice.
And my wife and I made a little ground blind, and about a half hour sitting there, here comes this bull chasing a cow, huge bull, probably 330 to 350 bull.
Beauty.
And he's 50 yards away, right?
Right.
And I pull down and I punch him. And you know when you make a good shot. You just know it, right?
Yep.
And he hauls off, and we track him back into, and it ends up going back into that Bear Hollow area I told you about.
Oh, no.
And the ground is really soft, and it had been raining a little bit, so it was muddy. And the elk tracks absolutely stopped. The blood trail absolutely stopped. It's like that elk flat out disappeared into nothingness.
Oh, no.
And we searched for 3 weeks. No birds, no smell, no elk, right?
Whoa.
Well, the year after that, I ended up shooting another one, really nice bull in that exact same spot, and the exact same scenario happened.
What? Oh, no.
To a T, yeah. And it gets better. And that tree stand that I told you my wife and I were sitting in when the mute button got hit.
Yeah.
My boy was sitting in that opening morning elk season, and elk walked right under him, 10 foot under his tree stand. And he shot him, and the elk went over and laid down 30 yards from the tree stand. So Shane snuck out and come got me. And we walked in there, and something had bumped him off that where he'd been laid down. And we followed the blood trail and the tracks. And wouldn't you know it, same exact thing. It's like that elk disappeared off the face of the earth.
Ew.
3 elk, and we never found.
Did you ever take any dogs in there?
Yeah, we've had our dogs in there.
What'd they do?
They didn't want to go down in there.
Shit. So,
yeah,
I'd have mixed feelings on that. I'd be absolutely concerned. Probably scared, but I'd be really pissed too. You know,
I was mostly mad.
Yeah, because we both know what it takes to get a bull like that, and then to hammer it perfect, and everything goes right, and then to have that happen and be like, "Oh, you son of a bee!"
Yeah, and the first elk, my wife and I, the very next day, we were in there tracking, looking for it, and we ended up in this little open spot in the trees that neither of us had ever seen before. And it was almost perfectly round. And we both walk into it at the exact same time. We're probably 10 yards apart. And we look at each other, and she says, "I don't like it in here. We're not supposed to be here. Let's leave." And I said, "Yep, I agree with you." And we turned around and left because it was, I don't know. Just one of those feelings,
What was growing on the ground in that opening?
There was just really short sagebrush in that opening.
Really?
Nothing else. It was very strange. There was no trees in there. There's nothing.
Did your arrows pass through those bulls?
Yes.
Oh, they did, eh?
Yep. I recovered them.
You know those Illuminox?
Yeah.
Imagine if you could get one like, Sarah's got these things called air tags. She puts them in her luggage and it tracks you. You can track it.
Right.
with GPS. Imagine if I think they might have an arrow right now you can track with GPS. Would you imagine though if you went back there and set that shit up and stuffed another bullet, the perfect shot with an arrow, stick it in them and it stayed in them, and then track it and see where that goes?
That would be very interesting.
Maybe terrifying.
Might be frightening.
Right. Oh my God.
The year before last, I was going into a new spot, and I started noticing these little mushrooms that had been pulled out of the ground, right? You could see they'd been pulled out of the ground, and they had been set in the tree branches. And there must have been 100 of them in tree branches through that whole area I was hunting. And some of them were eye level, some of them were 20 foot in a tree.
Right.
And they were out on little teeny branches that I'm not even sure a squirrel could get to. And there were no teeth marks, no claw marks on them, no bird beak marks.
I wonder why.
Have you seen mushrooms in trees?
Yeah, I've seen mushrooms in trees, but I saw it myself, and I figured out myself, and it was squirrels were definitely putting the mushrooms in the trees, but not to the extent that you just mentioned here. So you never know, right?
Right. Yeah, they were pulled out by the roots, and they were all on the ends of the branches, just like perfectly placed there.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. So have you had anything, do you live rural? Is there timber near your house and stuff?
I live about 14 miles from where I hunt.
So you got game and stuff around your neighborhood?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We got deer that run right through our yard every day.
Yeah, there you go. So you guys haven't had anything happen at your house?
No.
Not yet.
Other than we was camping, and we had spent 2 days in town, and we went back to camp, and we was coming up to our camper, and there was something great big laying right in front of the door of our camper, right? This great big brown thing. Get closer and closer, and it's a dead bull moose.
What?
Laying 10 foot from our door.
What?
I'm like, what in the heck is going on here?
Right.
So we call Fish and Game, and I figure someone shot him. He ran off, and this is where he ended up.
No shit.
Fish and Game. Yeah. 2 days later, Fish and Game showed up, picked him up, and I convinced him to let me go do the necropsy with him. And we come to the conclusion that it died from being gored by another bull.
Oh, yeah.
But he gave me the head and antlers, right?
Oh, I would have begged for that meat.
What's that?
I would have begged for the meat.
It was spoiled.
Ah, shitty.
Yep. By the time he got there, it was spoiled.
Damn.
But I had that in my backyard, up high, and it just disappeared.
What?
Out of my backyard.
What the hell? Why? Why would they want that?
I don't know, because that thing weighed 30 pounds. It still had antlers and head and hide, and, it just flat disappeared.
Yeah, that's really weird.
I don't know what took it.
That's weird.
So I don't know. It is weird.
Yeah.
My kids said they heard something outside one night, and then it was gone.
Oh, they did, eh? You got grizzlies there?
Every great while we'll have one kind of skirt the area.
Oh, yeah.
But no residents.
No.
We've
had stuff go missing. We've had grizzly bears come and take stuff from us, but not when it's that high up. They don't. We've never had a grizzly bear go up a tree or up a pole and try to climb to go get our quarters hanging up. I mean, if we have them too low, we've obviously had them come and try to rip us off or come into camp and chomp their jaws and be pissed off at us, but they haven't silently come in and grabbed a rack. And even if they did grab, if it was a bear or any natural predator that grabbed that moose head and skull, as well as I do, they would have just dragged it into the thick bush nearby and ate it right there.
Oh, sure. There'd have been hair on the ground where it got drug, and
yeah, they don't have a secret trophy room somewhere they're going to haul it off to and put on the wall.
Exactly.
They don't have shit they keep in their pockets and pack around because they think it's cool.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Not too far from that, just a hunting story. My son and I had located a really nice boulder in archer season, and he was bugling in the morning, and my boy had killed his elk. So I walked up the trail, and I'm sitting behind this laid down tree, and my boy's behind me bugling, and all of a sudden a herd of cows came out of the timber, 100 miles an hour. I've never seen cows move that fast, and I'm thinking, what is going on? And I look at Shane, he says, "Oh, that's good." And I had been cow calling. And that thing zeroed in on my cow call. It was coming right for me, beeline for me.
Right.
And all of a sudden I turned in from an elk hunter to a bear hunter, right?
Yeah.
And that thing got within 10 feet of me, and Shane had pretty good perspective of him, and just disappeared. Just flat disappeared. And Shane could see the trail he came down, could see both sides. We don't know where he went.
What?
Flat disappeared. I never even saw him. Shane said he was pure black and big, and he was coming straight for me for that cow call. And he got within about 10 yards of me and just flat disappeared.
And it was 100% a bear.
Yeah, 100% bear.
Whoa. Yep. Was he running?
You know,
was he running or trotting?
Trotting. Shane said he was kind of like a gallop.
Right. How far away at the last sighting? How far away from you?
About 10 yards.
That is so freaking bizarre.
Right?
And then
freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, do you think? And then how do you explain that one?
Yeah, the disappearing thing freaked me out way more than having a bear 10 yards away from me.
Oh my God, that's weird. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know what I would have to I'd be freaked right out over that one.
Yeah, we still to this day have not a clue what happened to that bear. We couldn't even find his tracks.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you guys openly, freely walked exactly where he disappeared, and everything's cool. Like nobody disappeared.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so. There is so much crazy shit going on in this lifetime. It's endless.
I know.
It just in every single good, honest person I hear from, you know what I mean. It just frustrates me that much more with how simple we've been raised.
Right.
Oh, it just makes me angry.
Yeah. It's funny because I preach at my local church. I'm not a preacher. I'm what they call a lay preacher because our preacher left and we never got anybody to come in. So I just kind of filled in, right?
Sure.
Well, that was 8 years ago. And the more I study the Bible and the stories we've been told as little kids in Sunday school are a lot deeper and more interesting than we're led to believe in Sunday school. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
It's a lot crazier. Some of the stories are insane when you dig into the Hebrew and what really is going on there.
Yeah.
It's insane. You want to hear a story about a miracle that happened to us out hunting?
Yep.
So we ran out of water in our camper, and we've got this 55-gallon drum that we fill up on the back of the truck and take out to camp and fill back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we put it on the truck, and we strap it down. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, and our camper's dry. And I go around this corner I was doing about 10 miles an hour, and that thing is strapped on, and my wife was behind me, and she starts flashing the lights at me. And I go, oh, crap, what now, right? So I stop, and the barrel's gone from the back of the truck. And it's out in the field about 150 yards, rolling through the field. somehow going around that corner, it came off the truck.
Right.
So we ended up losing all that water. Get back to camp that night, and I thought, well, I need to wash my hands and stuff. And I turned the faucet on, and there's water. And I hit the indicator, the level light on my camper, and my camper is 100% full of water.
What?
Yep, 100% full. That morning, it was completely dry.
What happened there?
Even brush our teeth.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know if God said, here, I'll help you out, kid, or what. But I didn't ask for it or nothing. But I get back to camp, and my camper's completely full of water.
That's amazing.
Right?
But you know what frustrates me about these stories, and I've had a handful of since I... Did you hear about what... You heard of what happened with my knife?
I'm not sure.
All right. When I was hunting, I went up... How it happened? I had a guy from here, from the channel, made me a custom-built knife. The thing was wicked. It's brand new. I've had a few knives sent to me. And I just got to think about gifts. I don't encourage people to send me anything. And I felt really bad. I lost that knife. I never used it once. Had a leather sheath on it, and I felt so bad because I lost this. It's not like somebody bought it at Walmart and gave it to me. This guy built this frickin' knife for me, and it's a real nice knife. And I had it with me, and I was mule deer hunting up north. 2-day drive from here up north, middle central BC, and I had my backpack on the back of my quad, and I never leave camp without a 2 or 3 trail cameras, knives, my licenses, snacks, everything's jammed on my backpack. And I usually have it strapped on the back of my quad. Anyway, I'm going down an old, you know those old single pole power lines? You know those ones where it's just a narrow cut?
Yep.
You know, not the big power lines, but those old ones, those single wood pole lines, thin one, both jack pine on both sides of that trail, real narrow, you know, and hardly anybody drives down that 2-track. And there's about 18 inches of fresh snow, and I'm pushing through with my quad, no problem. And then some friends of mine came up, joined me on that hunt, and I didn't even realize it yet, but the zipper on the top of my day pack, which was strapped to the back of my quad, was undone. And they said, oh, look at this trail camera we found. And I go, that's my trail camera. Where'd you find it? Well, back in that little power line road. I'm like, shit, no. So I looked at my backpack, and sure enough, I'd lost a couple trail cameras, lunch, and that knife. The knife was gone. In the sheath, it's gone. Lost it. Like, damn it. Anyway, fast forward. You haven't heard this story yet?
I don't think so. I must have missed that one.
Yeah. So it was just a couple years ago this happened. So get this one. It's also where I hunt elk in the fall. And everything's up there. You name it, it's running around there. Elk, moose, mule deer, whitetail, grizzlies, black bear, wolves, everything. Wolverine. Anyway.
Right.
So that was November. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. September 1st, I'm back up there for elk. It's smoking hot out. And between that time, so that's what, 9 months, whatever it is. Yeah, October.
Right.
September, October, November, 3 months. So that's nine months later. Same day pack, which I've used forever. And I had it. I've used that in those 9 months after I lost the knife in November. I used that pack I don't know how many times. And I clean it right out, get it back home here, dump all my shit out. It's just a day pack. You can't lose shit in it. And right? And I've used for steelhead fishing, for setting my trail cameras here in BC. I use it. It's my backpack. Anyway, so I got this friend of mine who's got a degree in psychology, by the way. Not that means shit, but he's with me elk hunting. He's a new hunter. And I dropped him off up in this upper deactivated road. It's all new birch, aspen, willow, thick ass shit. And logged off maybe 15 years previous. You know how thick that shit is. Anyway, I'm at the bottom of the valley. Dropped him off at the top. And I said, okay, well, hunt your way down this trail. And I'll meet you down the bottom by that wallow that we found earlier. So I get to the wallow first. And I'm going to set a trail camera on that wallow. And I'd already loaded my day pack that morning, 9 months later. I got my rain gear. I jumped. You know what happens when you leave without your rain gear, even if it's blue, right? I never leave without your rain gear, ever. So anyway, jam my rain gear in there, my lunch, my trail cameras, licenses, knives, and zip it up. It's got it tied on the back of my quad. So I get down to that wallow, and I'm sitting there, and then my buddy shows up. I go, well, I'm gonna put a. I want him to get there first. I wasn't gonna go in and get the trail cameras yet because we're gonna be walking around there a bit and setting them off. So I waited till we were done. I'm like, okay, I know where I'm gonna put the trail cameras. Unzipped the zipper on my day pack, and here's that knife in my backpack on top of my rain gear and my trail cameras and everything.
Wow.
And without the sheath, and the brand new knife that I'd never used before, it still had mud, like dried dirt, stuck to the blade and the handle, and the blade had been corroded and stained from where that mud had stuck on it for, well, who knows, for the past 9 months. And I just unzipped and went. And I'm like, what the F? And my buddy's like, what's up? And I go, come here and look at this. And he comes over, I go, look at this knife. And he's like, what? And I go, and I told him what I just told you. And then he's like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, right. So, I posted that video. I told the story right away online here, shared it with everybody. This is what happened. And of course, there's a lot of people out there. They're a little emotional. Well, just be thankful. Why are you angry? I'm like, I'm not angry. I want to know how this happened. And just because this happened,
it's concerning.
Yeah, it doesn't. Just because that happened, you can't explain it. It's absolutely bizarre. It doesn't mean instantly a 9-foot-tall, hairy, human-like being did it. You know what I mean? It doesn't. For me, it doesn't mean that's who did it. First off, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But and then people are starting to get mad at me saying, "Just quit being angry and thank them for doing it and replacing your knife." And I'm like, it's not about the kind act. It's about for all I know, it could have been a statement too. You know what I mean? Look what we can do.
Exactly.
I didn't feel like it was.
I almost think more is it. Oh yeah, you think you're neat? Look what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, you could come at it from different angles. You could come at it from an act of kindness. You could also think, well, let's come from it from an act of aggression. Here, just think, we could have stuck this in your back, but I put it in your backpack instead. But I didn't feel any maliciousness. But what I'm getting at is, with your water experience, with the elk going missing, with my knife. And that knife traveled 12 miles as the crow flies to get in my backpack. 12 miles. From where I lost it deer hunting. But anyways, what I'm getting at is, if you can do this, whoever or whatever you are, if you can do these things, why don't you just come flat out and talk to us? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like enough of the games and the bullshit. Would you just please give me this missing knowledge so I can try to make sense of this crazy ass lifetime? Why do you keep doing these things when you can do something like this? You obviously outclass me and my friends to the max. So why can't you just sit down and talk?
I don't understand the rock throwing and the hand slapping. I don't understand that. Is it just for kicks and giggles, or are they just screwing with us to see a reaction? What's going on?
Well, and then on that note, in that question, you got a lot of people who say, well, it's counting coups. Like when the natives back in the days, how close you can get to your adversary without them knowing. It's counting coup. All right, well, maybe not. Or maybe, I always say, well, it's the youngsters, it's the teenagers. They just like to mess with human beings. Okay, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But either way, of all of this shit going down, why do you keep just giving us these tidbits of examples? Why don't you just sit down and talk to us? Some of us,
right.
We're not allowed to kill your ass. I'm not. I got less respect for the ding-dongs who are steering us right now than anything. I wouldn't mind somebody to sit down and talk to about the shit going on, or your shit going on, or your concerns, who you are. Just talk to me. Quit messing with me and talk to me,
I know.
How did you get the water in the camper? Why did you put the water in the camper? And why did you do it that way? And why didn't you just sit and talk to me after you put the water in the camper? Why not?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. It's
mysterious.
I know. But we've had it with, we're filled up with mysterious. Okay, we get it. we've got drums and drums and drums of mysterious stacked up. It's like, could you just please help us get past the next level?
Right.
And there's
here last year I went to Montana by myself for 10 days just fly fishing, and I got back, unpacked the truck, and I couldn't find my eyeglasses. They were in a black case. We hunted for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. One day Shayna opened the truck, and my eyeglasses in the case are sitting right in the middle of the truck seat.
There we go.
And she says, "You're screwing with me. Where'd you find them?" I'm not that bored, dear.
Yeah.
I you know?
And there you go again. It's like, okay, thanks for the glasses. Could you just leave me a note with them next time? Just signed from so-and-so. Yeah.
Because I know they were in the truck.
I know. It's so bizarre. And all right, well, let's just throw it out there. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it is these hair-covered giant people. Okay, let's just say it is. All right, so we're allowed to see you physically, or we're allowed to hear you. You're allowed to touch us. You're allowed to throw rocks at us. You're allowed to leave footprints. But you just can't tell us what's up, ever. For honest, flat out, just a flat out, casual questions and answers bullshit session. Nope, can't do it. Why not?
Like they signed a non-disclosure ad.
Yeah, like I always wonder who they are scared of. That's a big question I got too. Who are you scared of? Who are you scared of?
Oh yeah, and if they're scared of something, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive, yeah. But obviously they are, right? I mean, you can't go.
Oh yeah.
You can't go sneaking up and looking at in our windows all the time, sneaking around a barn, sneaking around our house, following us, yelling at us, terrorizing us, whatever, hooting at us. But some golden rule. I mean, all right, let's just say I was a character. I'm a hair-covered human. I'm a hair-covered being. I'm going to sneak up in your camp on my belly. I'm going to lay there looking at you guys around your fire. I'm going to steal your elk. I'm actually going to pee on your tent. I'm going to press on your tent. I'm going to touch your head. I might even reach in and grab you on the feet and drag at your tent a little bit. What else? You know what I mean? Like so many examples of absolute confidence we can show easily, but I'm still scared shitless to take it a step further. I can't talk to you. I can't.
Right.
Because we know human.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, like what sometimes I don't. My lips don't mesh up my brain too smoothly. But what I'm getting at is, if I was a character, I'm going to be a character through and through, like the characters we grew up in school with, the shit disturbers. They'll do anything. They don't give a flying shit. They're a character. So a lot of these hair-covered people have the characteristics of being a character, but there's a limit. All those characters seem to have the exact same limit. And if to have that limit, they have to have somebody who is absolutely intimidating and has made it firm. Don't cross that line.
Yep, I agree.
Who is it?
I totally agree.
Who is it?
And, I don't know. Is it whoever's in these orbs that are constantly seen in the same area as they are? Or is it God? I don't know.
I know, and then if it's God, well, come on, God, why are you doing this to us? Why do we have to surround us with these mysteries and torture us mentally to try to figure it out on our own, but and then make it impossible for us to come up with the ultimate honest answer, And then on the other hand, we do have a lot of people who allegedly have been seen through portals, and they've sat down on a log and they've talked to these people through mind speak. They've had a photo album dump of images landed in their brain. Allegedly, and we have a lot of human beings who claim to have these experiences and this knowledge. But I don't know. But who do you believe? Who's legitimate? How can they back it up and prove it,
Exactly. Where's the evidence?
Yeah. It's like, okay, you got taken by the hand and shown the other dimension. Well, I can't say I don't believe you.
How do you prove that? Where's the video? Where's the proof?
Yeah, but I'm not the guy that can say it didn't happen.
They're lying.
Yeah, I'd never say they're lying, but it's unfortunate that if that is the absolute truth, that they can't frickin'... I'm still stuck behind the barrier. I'm still stuck behind this damn barrier. And it's frustrating because you want to burst out of it so bad.
And I'm not sure I want to experience those things for myself.
Valid. Right? It's like, there's the other hand. I was starting to get into... I was looking into and listening to the near-death experiences for a little while there, and listening to all these people and trying to figure out the afterlife and what's really going on. And then all of a sudden I read this comment one day. It was so simple. And they just said, this lifetime's short enough. You don't have to be worried about the afterlife. It's coming. It's coming fast enough. You just should probably focus on and enjoy having a good time while you're here. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a pretty good point. Right?
Yeah.
Pretty good, valid point. But then you get somebody with an asshole characteristic like me, and I don't know why it bothers me so much. I mean, I have been able to live quite the free life pursuing my passions in the outdoors. I got to guide for a long time, being free daily and pursuing all my dreams. I'm very fortunate, but there's a big piece of me, and I don't know where it comes from, but I'm very frustrated and angry that all of these people don't get, including myself, don't get to have this knowledge. And believe me, I have heard from and spoke to so many people whose chance at living their life, celebrating their passions like I have been stripped away and stolen from them only because of lack of knowledge. And that makes me angry. And I hear from so many people like yourself, and they have these things happen, and it's absolutely ruined their life. And I'm like, okay, that's a game misconduct. That's not cool.
I refuse to let it keep me out of the woods.
Yeah, I'd jump. I would frickin' jump if I lost it. And like you said, well, I don't know if I want to see the other side. You know what I mean? And it's like me, I've shared it online more than a few times. So there's sometimes I've been on the verge, like I've been hanging in there, just hanging to make myself go into that timber in the dark and pursue my most favorite deer hunting spot on the planet. And I still make sure I go. But sometimes it's quite the tax on the brain to do that,
I know exactly how you feel. There's sometimes I wake up in the morning and it's pitch dark outside, and I'm going to hunt exactly where I lost those elk, and I have to force myself out of bed. But I do it because I refuse to let them keep me out of my woods.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. We know what we're talking about. You know what? It usually gets me the worst the night before.
Yep. I hear you there.
That's when it gets me, and when I know I'm going in the morning, it's the night before. And I'm for all the people listening right now, I'm being straight up honest. Some of those spots in those mountains I've hunted them for 18, 20 years, and I haven't stopped. I've put off going in some places a few times, but it's usually at nighttime, and it is 100% the night before I go. Every single time I go, I'm freaking myself out in bed. And then I finally fall asleep and I wake up, I got my coffee, and then I got my game face on and I go. But it seems to be for me, it's the night before.
It's always in the morning for me. I lay there and I think, you know how easy it'd be to just roll over and go back to sleep. But then I think, that's robbing me of maybe a wonderful experience that I might have today,
Yeah. And there's the death thing. It's like, whatever. I'm not. I've almost died. I don't know how many times. I'm not scared of it. So it's like, I use that as my power, I guess you might say, my personal private power when I'm, struggling through those weaker moments. I just remind myself, listen, you're not scared of anything. You're not scared of death. Get out there and live. And that encourages me when I say that to myself a lot too. That works for me. Right. For a lot of people listening right now who are possibly in the same position,
Oh, yeah. I've had 3 or 4 really close calls, but the best was probably when I was 10. I remember I was 10 because that's the year my dad drew for moose. He's up on this hill, and it's a ridge. It's a really skinny ridge. Really, I don't know, 3 or 4 mile long ridge. And there's a nice gradual steep hillside, and then there's this rock jetty that comes out. It's probably 10 foot wide and 10 or 15 foot long. And Dad parked up on the hill, had a 1989 Bronco 2. It was brand new. And I had my pellet gun, and I was chasing grouse, right? And we were standing on the end of that cliff. Dad was glassing, and I heard something behind me. And I turned around, and the Bronco 2 was headed towards us. And I told Dad, the truck. And he turns around and runs up there and tries to stop it. Well, this trail was really rutted. Oh, probably 12-inch ruts, right? And somehow the ignition was off, and steering wheel's locked when the ignition's off, right?
Yeah.
Somehow that thing come out of those ruts, the tires turned, and center punched that cliff, dead center.
What?
That I was standing on the end of.
No.
Yeah, 100% truth. It was about 10 foot away from me when I finally dove out the side of the cliff to get out of the way, and that Bronco 2 flew right off into that cliff.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a close one.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. When we got down, the steering wheel still locked.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna bite my lip on the near-death experiences. I got it so many. I told a bunch of the stories online. They're in videos. Bears, grizzly bears, and almost dying on the other side of the planet. But like, actually, had a doctor tell me flat out, you probably be dead by tomorrow morning in a hospital room. Yeah, in Southeast Asia, and I'm like, I'd already been in there for a week dying. I'm like, really? He goes, yes. I go, nothing you can do about it? No. I'm like, okay, man. And I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm actually getting excited because I'm thinking, holy shit, of all the bush plane flights and the grizzly bears and all the shit, and I'm dead tomorrow. No way. This is going to be the craziest freaking ride of them all. And I'm not kidding you. You start getting excited. I was getting kind of jacked up. I'm like, this is going to be outrageous. I'm dying. I'm like, and then I'm laying there. I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. Let's just do this. And then you start thinking to yourself, what if I'm going to get breakfast in? Am I going to make it to lunchtime? It's really bizarre. But I'm just saying, I got a lot of close ones. But it was that was probably one of the moments though where I realized, all right, we're going somewhere else. No, there isn't a doubt in my mind we're going somewhere else. So, and that's helped me do a lot of things since without being scared. Thank God. But
there's a lot of people that think that it's just lights out, and I couldn't disagree with that more.
Oh, not a chance. Not a freaking chance. But, yeah, I don't know. Fright. That's one of the shittier characteristics being a human being is having fear, That's how fear is used on people daily in everything today. It's just nonstop fear to make us do what whoever it is wants us to do. Whoever that dark prince of evil it is who's being fed all the power and our tax money in the end at the top of the pyramid, I guess, whoever that is, that son of a bee.
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously we can sit here and talk all night about all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
So when is the last time you had an experience with these people, these other people? How long ago?
Probably 2 years, because we didn't archery hunt last year because we drew a late elk tag, so we didn't hunt that area. So, yeah, it's been 2 years now since I've hunted that area real hard.
And it's only that area, nowhere else?
Yeah, only that area that we end up with running into this stuff.
How many square miles do you think it is, that zone?
Oh, it's probably 20 miles long and 10 miles wide, I'd say.
That's a good chunk. Were you ever tempted to bring anything in there for them?
What's that?
Were you ever tempted to bring anything in there for them? Any kind of gifts?
No. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't want to be attached to them in any way or make them mad when I stop taking them gifts or,
Yeah, I think, for me, I like being able to walk out the door around the house 24/7 and be casual about it.
Yeah, I don't want to worry about walking out my back door.
No, but when we first bought this place, we had something beaten on the roof of this place a couple times. Like we're talking 14 feet up. And then we also had some weird lights in the basement floating around in the basement. But
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. But we've had it saged, and our First Nation superhero ladies have come over and helped, and seems to be under control. Nothing's been going on here for a little while anyway. But we'll see. But it's pretty casual. And then I've had stuff go just on the river down behind the house here. I'll jump in the quad and sometimes go down there and make a video. And that's about, as the crow flies, 600 yards away from the door. And I've had stuff thrown at me there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're here.
You know, I've had a lot of pine cones hit me when I've been hunting, but I usually just attribute it to squirrels, you know? But then I start thinking to myself, those squirrels have got really good accuracy.
Yeah, right. It's like, what, they got a little mini hockey stick and they're taking a slap shot off the branch with a pine cone? Right? Yeah. Like
I think the last crazy experience I had was the year before last. I was hunting by myself, just taking a drive, and it was dark. Coming home, just windows down, 5 miles an hour, just cruising, you know, taking in the mountain air, and all of a sudden I see two lights. And it just looked like four-wheeler headlights coming at me at about 60 miles an hour.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden I realized that there's not a road there. It's sagebrush and rock ravines.
Oh, wow.
And it gets closer and closer, and then they go down in this little gully, and the gully lights up brighter than the sun, and then it just goes out.
Wow.
About 30 yards away from me.
30 yards.
And I rolled up the window and went home.
Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on around there.
Yes, there is.
Those people.
I've got some theories about that. But.
Yeah, the people in your community. There has got to be people in the community that know that shit's going on too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think after my dad's friend was treated like that, I think a lot of people probably won't come out now.
There's the fear part, right? The fear that we've been built into us. Fear. Fear each other, fear ridicule, fear the truth. It sucks.
Fear ridicule is something else.
Isn't it amazing? That power of ridicule?
Yep.
I don't have it. I don't have it at all, thank God. But to watch it go down is kind of...
I don't either.
No, it's like, bring it. Well, obviously, look, I'm online talking about Sasquatch all the time, right?
The only people I care what they think about me is my wife and kids and parents and grandparents.
Oh yeah, for sure. The circle of trust.
The rest of the world can think whatever they want about me.
Yeah. Actually, Sarah and I were talking about that earlier. You know, there's a lot of people lined up to come on here and talk to me, and she's like, "Do you know who these people are?" I'm like, "Nope." She goes, "What if some kind of a hater sneaks on there?" I'm like, "Perfect. That'll be some great entertainment."
It would be.
Because I got a big barrel of comebacks, right? So I'd be like, "Okay, let's do this. What do you need to say to me?"
Might be your most popular video.
Yeah, it probably would be, right? Maybe I should just put a big invite out there. Hey, are you a hater? You want to come on to How to Hunt and try to rip me a new butthole? Let's get into it.
That's funny.
We'll see what comes, but you're the first one. Well, not the first one. I've done a few of these in the past with other channels, but you're the first one since we decided to call it Truth Talk. So here we go. You're the first one.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm super glad you agreed to come on here and have a chat.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. It's too bad you couldn't.
If you'd ever want to come hunt mountain turkeys, but if you ever want to hunt Idaho mountain turkeys, you're more than welcome to come down.
You got lots of birds?
Oh man, they planted turkeys about 25 years ago, and they had no clue what those birds were going to turn into.
Really? No way.
The population absolutely exploded.
Wow. How much fun is that?
Yeah. Oh, it's a blast. It's the closest thing to elk hunting without hunting elk.
Oh, I know. Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah. What kind of what kind of are those Easterns? Merriam's. How many turkeys are you allowed each year?
What's that?
How many turkeys are you allowed a season?
3.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we can kill 2 in the spring and 1 in the fall.
That is fun. Well, I appreciate that offer. Who knows? Hopefully. I'd love to. I would do that in a second. It's just...
Yeah. You would not believe the mountains those turkeys live on.
Really?
Straight uphill. Yep, top of them. The top of the tallest mountain around.
So, is it easier to call them down or call them up or cross hill?
My boy and I have had a lot easier time calling them uphill than downhill.
Really?
Yep.
I've heard that.
My boy's a turkey hunting fiend, man.
Is
he kills. He tags out every year.
So he's an elk hunting fiend too. I don't even have to ask that.
Oh, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. Well,
he told me he'd rather hunt turkeys than anything.
Oh wow! Oh, he's right into it. Well, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I love hunting with people that are that enthusiastic. I love that part of it. And that sounds like that would be a good time if I could pull it off. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe. You never know.
Yeah. Well, if you ever make it to Idaho in the spring, let me know. We'll go.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it big time. And I super appreciate you coming on here. Pardon me?
Go catch some smallmouth, too.
Do it all. It's too bad you couldn't share this video with your entire community after. I bet you.
I would love to have the entire community see this video.
I know, you know what I mean? It's like, because it's tough. It's tough in small communities to bring up a topic like this. Because next thing you know, you got the fear.
I know.
And then everybody fears you, and they look at you sideways in the grocery store. But it'd be good too bad we couldn't just drop this icebreaker on small communities by dropping videos like this, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a few people I can send the video to, and in a town like this, there's only 3,000 people here, so it doesn't take long for something to circulate.
Oh, you do that, it'll get talked about in the grocery store or the hardware store or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Right, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, we better wrap this up. I got to get inside and eat my dinner because I have another guest coming on here in I think an hour and a half or something.
Nice.
Yeah, and this guy has been picked up by one of these people as a boy.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, and he's got a lot of knowledge to share.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that beats my story.
There's no beating nothing. It all adds up. It's all in the same bucket, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris, I got to get running. I absolutely appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'll talk to you again, and this should be up tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds great.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you again. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you have a good night.
You too, man. Later.
Bye.
There we go. Whoops. How cool is that? What a kind, honest, good, super man. Absolutely appreciate Chris coming on here and talking to me. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope you guys did too. Now, what am I doing? Man, he's had some crazy, unexplainable things happen. I got no reason to doubt he experienced what he did. My gut completely screams this man is absolutely legitimate. But anyway, there you go, you guys. Episode 1, Truth Talk, is down. I'm going to go and eat some dimmer. I'm going to go in and eat some dinner. And we're going to get episode number 2. Share my story at howtohunt.com. I'll talk to you guys later.